So we're going to just look briefly at the idea of invasion and its impact on civilization. So just an introduction, it's not a full lecture. So just asking, what great invasions can you think of? So I just want you to take a few seconds, pause the video, and see if you can come up with enough to fill up one hand. Okay, so here's some of the ones that I think of, and they're not in chronological order, okay? I think of Persia invading Greece in the first Persian War, and then the second Persian War. I think of Alexander the Great invading Persia. I think of Egypt being invaded between the Middle and the New Kingdoms and the way that that made them become a more militaristic society. I think of the Mycenaeans invading and laying siege to the city of Troy. The whole Helen of Troy, Trojan War story. I think of the Romans invading everywhere, invading throughout the Italian peninsula, invading Sicily, the Punic Wars with Carthage, invading in the East, invading England, and invading France, all that. Then I think of the Germanic tribes invading, coming in to the borders of the Western Roman Empire, kind of the traditional fall of the Roman Empire story. And I think of the Matars, the Hungarian peoples invading from the East. So both were happening. I think of the Huns, Attila the Hun, coming across the Asian steppe. I think of the Mongols, Genghis Khan, coming across the Asian steppe. And I think of the Sea peoples who come and disrupt things in the Eastern Mediterranean in the ancient world. So just some maps, and I want you to think about like what impact does invasion have, right, on civilization. So here's people coming, the Sea peoples, and we now know there are probably all these different groups of people that fall under the idea of the Sea peoples coming into the Eastern Mediterranean. The Vikings, I didn't even put them on my list. The Matars and the Saracens did not have the Saracens. The Saracens are actually Muslims coming up from the south into Europe for the most part. And we know culturally, we just have a lot more knowledge about the Vikings than the other two, I'm sure. There's the Mongols, kind of everywhere, like in such a huge Mongol empire. The Trojan War, much smaller scope on the map, but culturally, again, big impact because of the tales told of this war. Persian Wars, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Again, small space, big impact. Alexander's invasion of Persia. And I didn't include all the Roman map, but so if you think about in our own time invasions, like modern invasions, right? Maybe you thought of the D-Day invasion, like the invasion of Normandy, or you may have thought of us being attacked on September 11th, the US being attacked on September 11th. You may have thought of the Bay of Pigs invasion. I mean, I'm not sure what's in your mind in terms of invasions, but there are certain like landmark invasions that have rocked kind of the psyche of Western society. And these are some of the ones from the ancient world. So we're going to look at some of those this week.